Welcome to another US Geoguessr professor video. I've been doing a lot of state-specific videos, trying to give you some education, some thinking, some analysis in some specific states of the US, but I just felt like playing a whole US map today. And so I'm going to be going with the United States. No blurry. As you know, the US map can get a little Gen 1, get a little blurry in spots, so this is a good map to eliminate that. I will be starting out no moving, and hopefully staying that way, but if I get frustrated, if we need some more clues, if I feel like I could maybe teach you a little something moving, we will do that, because I'm going to set it to 10 minutes. So without farther ado, where are we in our first round? Certainly rural. We see these low, I don't think they're concrete, but they're low to the ground, they're square. They at least have these concrete foundations. It doesn't look like these are houses with basements. Largely deciduous. Looks like we have mostly oaks, I believe. Not seeing very many pine trees at all. I don't think I've seen one pine tree yet, as a matter of fact. Not seeing a great deal of southern pines either, which is a little surprising. Because, I mean, we're immediately kind of getting a southern vibe off of this soil, off of this architecture, this chain link fence in front of this house. I mean, these are some pretty distinctly um, southern features, I would think. But let's see what we can get off of this waste bin here, or trash can. I think waste bin would be more like Europe, right? Some days I can't let my world geoguessing slip into my US geoguessing, right? City of something something. Yorba something. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. So that would explain a lot. Definite Oklahoma vibes here. I mean, heavily, deciduously forested. These are definitely some Oklahoma-looking houses. I mean, initially I was kind of getting Texas a little bit, like East Texas, especially that chain link fence. But eastern Oklahoma would explain why we're not getting really any kind of southern pines or really any pines at all. A little bit confusing at first, but Tulsa, I think, really explains everything. River of Life Tabernacle. We are at South 61st and West 4th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Great, we get a lot of clues just right there from the jump. What else would be indicative of Oklahoma? Feel like, I don't know why this is, but in Texas and Oklahoma, I just feel like there's so many railroad crossings. There's railroad crossings in every state, of course, but I just, like that scene to me, looking that kind of like wide open railroad, it just kind of gives me Oklahoma vibes. I don't know why. What else do I know about Oklahoma? If we were in Oklahoma City, street signs would be much more distinct. Oklahoma City street signs are pretty easy to learn because they have a circular, multicolored seal on the left side of most street signs in the city. Tulsa ones you see are a lot plainer. I got excited to learn Oklahoma City street signs because they're so distinct, and then I was so disappointed at how nondescript Tulsa's were. So if you're in a big city in Oklahoma and the street signs are super boring, Tulsa. So that takes us here. We're going to be maybe even somewhere down. I was thinking the other southern suburbs because we're at South 61st. Where is there? So that is going to be. Why do we have a South 61st? South 61st. I'm expecting the West 4th. Here's East 4th. University of Tulsa, going through downtown. Where's West 4th? Are we at this neighborhood West O Main? Yeah, I think so, because here's where we're having numbers in both directions. West 4th Place, 65th, 64th. Great. Katy Trail, so that wasn't a railroad at all. That is now what looks to be like a bike trail. Cool. Definitely is one of those rail trails, I would imagine. Open Arms Fellowship, is that what we're seeing? No, we're seeing River of Life Tabernacle, but this for sure is where we started. Most assuredly. A little bit up 4th. Nice, good start, 5K, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, very rural round indeed. At least it's not blurry. Multicolored fall foliage everywhere. Spindly pine trees everywhere. High but also snowless mountains to the west. Okay, interesting. Where could we be just based off of this landscape? I think this kind of forest, you might call it arboreal forest. Not exactly sure on that, but the kind of like multicolored, deciduous, low trees mixed with these higher and more spindly pine trees. I mean, we have to be somewhere in the extreme northern U.S. We would even see some of this kind of foliage, I believe, in Alaska. Now, if we look at these mountains, though, to the west, nothing about these mountains say Alaska to me. So I would think we would be somewhere in the contiguous United States, and I think it's somewhere that, quite frankly, I'm bad. I'm going to be bad at region guessing. Could we be in Montana? Why is this giving me like Montana, northern Idaho vibes? Could be. Now, there looks to be a kind of higher mountain with maybe some snow on it to the north. Could we be elsewhere? Could we not be in the west at all? I mean, we're not getting many clues really at all except these high mountains. Um, with these kind of trees, yes, but with this kind of mountain, no. Like, I don't think there's no way we're in like Upper Michigan or Maine. Uh, I think Mountain West, Upper Mountain West, if we're not in Alaska. But I still think Alaska could be a possibility because, wow, I'm feeling like that's an Alaska sign. 1 Mile Creek. This, yeah. I think that mountain was confusing me for a minute. But the more I'm getting vibes, the more I think we might be in Alaska. I usually consider myself pretty good at Alaska, so if that is indeed where we are, I'm kind of embarrassed. Not gonna lie. And yeah, those are Alaska highway mile markers. Mile 185. Yeah, this is Alaska, but where could we be where there's like this low, snowless mountain? I mean, this mountain's not low, but wow. Where could we be? I mean, I would definitely think interior, but with a mountain that high, I'm not sure that we're in the Fairbanks area. Could we be somewhere on the way from Anchorage up to Fairbanks? Could this be the Parks Highway? Possibly. Thinking Parks is a possibility. I'm also thinking Alaska Highway is a possibility. So this would be, if we were on 185 on the Alaska Highway, and playing Alaska a lot of the time, it's nice or at least advantageous to learn the names of the highways too. Because you might see that you're on the Alaska. That means the two in between Tok and Fairbanks. Could we be on the Tok Highway or the highway going northeast of Anchorage through the Glen Allen? The name of that's escaping me right now. The Glen Highway. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen terrain like this around the Glen, but for some reason I'm thinking this is the Alaska Highway. And if we're on 185, just had rounds here before, I believe that might put us around like Dot Lake Village, somewhere like that. That's Chief Creek. Let's do a little bit more exploration, but yeah, I'm becoming very convinced we're in Alaska. Sometimes interior Alaska can look little bit like Montana. I'm a little bit ashamed that I was even really thinking like Montana, Idaho, but some of that like northern forest in the extreme north, Mountain West, and Pacific Northwest. That sign said Paxson, so I think that just confirmed we're somewhere on the Alaska Highway, because you see Paxson is down there. But Paxson is connected on the 4 down there to Glen Allen. So could we be on the 4? The Richardson. Is that a possibility? Yeah. Could be, huh? I mean, I feel like we got to be somewhere near Paxson. That's what that sign said. We're going generally north, which would not be indicative of the Alaska, but we'd be somewhere near the Alaska. We'd be kind of in between the Parks Highway over here and then the Alaska Highway over here. So I think we're deep in interior Alaska. Got to be somewhere near Paxson. Went over a creek. What was that creek? 1 Mile Creek or something like that? One something creek. Would it be plausible if we were at 185 on the Richardson? Yeah, most assuredly. And here we see Alaska 8, so we are not on the Richardson at all. Where is Alaska 8? What? Is that this road going up to Chicken? No, that's Alaska 5. Where's the 8? The 8 is not the Seward. I'd be flabbergasted if we were on the Seward. It'd be so much more mountainous. The Seward is the 9. Where in the heck is the 8? I'm not sure that I'm even, like, aware of where the 8 is in Alaska. The 11's the Dalton. There's the 6, 2, 3. Where are we? Delta Junction, Fairbanks. Denali National Park. But we're on the 8. I thought the Parks Highway was the 3. Is it not? Okay, there's the 3. Delta Junction, Fairbanks. So Delta Junction is east of Fairbanks. There we go. So we're on the 2 or the 4. But this claims we're on the 8. That's weird. Where's the 8? Is the 8 this piece down there in Haines? What? No, that's the 7. I thought it was the 7 all the way through. Why am I getting an Alaska round that's just absolutely flabbergasting me? Okay, so north towards Delta Junction and Fairbanks. I get that. Okay. Cool. We see Delta Junction. We see Fairbanks. Okay, so that's there. Yep, yep. So 4, Donnelly Paxson, but it says, oh, there's the 8. There's the 8. Wow, okay. Oh, wow. So the 8 goes in between Cantwell and Paxson. So Delta Junction and Fairbanks that way. On the 8. On the 8. So Denali National Park that way. This is craziness. Where are we? We're at the 4 and the 8. Okay, cool. So the 4 and the 8 must run together through Paxson. So that would be at this intersection here. And then going back to origin, we have under a minute left. But we would have to be somewhere, yeah, mile 185 here on the Richardson. They claim to be the 8, but the 8 goes off that way. I think we would be somewhere just south of that first creek crossing. Nice. 4997, under 600 yards in Alaska. We finally narrowed it down. But we were up there in interior Alaska. Confusing Alaska round. I mean, it really took. I mean, I should have known from the jump, but just got confused. I feel like I had like a Montana round the other day that kind of resembled that, so just a little bit of a confusing time at first, but don't think it turned out too bad in the end. Good thing for 10-minute rounds. Okay, so in our middle round here, maybe I can popularize calling this the hump round. Is there any way that's going to take off? 3 out of 5. In our middle round here, we are somewhere urban and we're somewhere with trash bins. And of course I can't read those trash bins. No moving. And I'm a little bit confused by that license plate. It is blue. It's a little bit reminiscent of the new Iowa plates, which seems weird. Yeah, I mean, we're nowhere near Iowa. I see Brookline Driving School in front of us. This, is that a 2-lane road going down? No, it's always going to be a 2-lane road. Touchscreen laptop, just took one step in Brookline. I'm going to return to origin. I'll probably start moving, but that was an accident. So we're obviously in Brookline, Massachusetts, and everything about this scene really lends itself to that. The changing foliage, I don't know why, it just like always feels like it's fall in New England, or at the very least it kind of like looks like it's fall most of the year. So everything about this just kind of is very, very reminiscent of Boston. This colonial and brick architecture with the columns, the old sidewalks that are lined with these stone walls, very, very Boston. And Brookline is a real inner suburb of Boston. Don't think it's pronounced Brooklyn, I think it's Brookline. And it's out one of the trolley lines from Boston, so it would make sense we're there. See Brookline just to the southwest of Boston, and it's just kind of past Fenway Park, Northeastern University, Boston University in Boston. So I know that one of the trolley lines, one of the green lines on the T goes out there. So that to me would be a first thing I would look for. We don't see that anywhere, but it does look like we're on a fairly major road in Brookline. It's going northwest to the southeast. So could be just about anywhere in this neighborhood. I think it's going to be a little bit confusing differentiating between Boston and Brookline. All of these trash cans are Brookline, though, so I'm going to be guessing in the city limits there. If I can determine where they are, they're kind of fluid. So thanks to that car in front of me, even if I couldn't have read the trash bins, it says Brookline, Washington Street. Couldn't have gotten a little bit more of a distinctive street name? There's Washington Street. Okay, so cool. We were on a pretty major road. But it looks like we weren't even right off of Washington. We were very near Washington and Park. We were south of Washington and Park. So again, gonna be a little bit fluid, but it looks like we're on the northwest side of Brookline. So that's gonna make it a little bit easier. See how just Boston and Brookline, I think the river there might be the demarcating line, but if you didn't see Brookline and you just saw that car even, you might be tempted to just go somewhere else in Boston. These, to me, don't strike me as Boston street signs, though. I mean, maybe if I went into City of Boston, I would be proved wrong. They're kind of old-fashioned. I mean, everything about this looks like Boston, but Brookline it is. So we were south of Washington Park. You can see that was there. We return right back to where we were. Were we anywhere near this pet service? Furry feet, pet sitting, and dog. All right, how far south of Park are we on Washington? And just to confirm, that's Park, yeah. So this must be Waybridge Road, a one-way going out there. Yeah, everything would fit about that. So we would be just about 1, 2, we'd be right about here, I would think. Nice. 3 yards away, so we're right at sort of the east edge of that building there near Washington and Waybridge, Brookline, Massachusetts. Okay, not in Massachusetts anymore. I would say we are way, way west of there, wouldn't you? Low, very low, kind of hill, not even mountain. Hill, sparsely forested. I would say notably sparsely forested. Not desert. Maybe trending to desert a little bit. Feed supply. Bar and grill. Pickup truck. Good old Western American atmosphere there, right? Hills. Farm equipment. Bar and grill, diner. Not getting much off of any of these plates, unfortunately. I think my biggest thing over here is going to be this speed limit sign. Speed 35. That is a pretty distinctive, and I would venture to say rather old-fashioned speed limit sign. I don't know if I've seen a lot of those. Some red mailboxes. Am I looking at a Texas road? I think that's my first question. I don't think so. We're very piney. Look at that really big stand of pines there. Everything behind that feed supply building are pines. So we are very largely coniferous. Back in Brookline, we were very largely deciduous. We had some evergreens sprinkled in there, but here I'm seeing almost exclusively pines. I mean, there's a little bit of some other stuff mixed in, right? But I'm seeing largely pines. All right, I don't think we're getting very much off of just this initial scene. That plate seems very plain to me. It isn't telling me much. O'Connor's Irish Pub and Diner. I mean, is it just me? That very little about that building says Irish Pub. Wow. So, I don't know. I'm getting kind of like a high desert feel from this. High desert kind of feel. I don't know if that's just my initial impressions. Now we get some signs. I feel like we're going to be relying on those signs because I really wasn't able to pinpoint where we were just right when we had the initial impression. Klamath Lake County Youth Ranch. Okay, I was thinking that maybe we could be in Eastern Oregon. Just has that kind of like high desert, southern Idaho kind of feel to it. We have these mountains that aren't like super big mountains. They're kind of like low, more sparsely forested. We have a bunch of cows. We have a largely agricultural atmosphere. Bonanza Lions Club. So the Klamath or Lake counties. Klamath, I am almost positive, is in Oregon. I don't think that there's another Klamath County anywhere. All right, this is going to help. Yeah, Klamath Falls, Ah, we get some Gen 1 coverage. I thought this was United States, no Blurry, but I guess we moved, so they're okay, right? Olean, Klamath Falls, Beatty, Lakeview. I would really, really like to get out of this Gen 1 coverage, but we need those signs, I think. That's just, even the sun on Street View is hurting my eyes. Okay, this is really bad. My old eyes are doing bad here. I specifically picked United States, no Blurry, right? But then I had to go move into Oregon. So we're way out in like somewhere, Oregon, right? There's Klamath Falls down there in extreme southern Oregon. So yeah, we were really getting towards that high desert kind of feel and really getting pretty close to that area I was just mentioning over in there in like western Idaho, southwestern Idaho. This is all Great Basin, I believe, so it makes a great deal of sense. We would be, largely deciduous trees. We'd have a kind of deserty feel, though. Beatty, so we are looking west. That means Olathe, Klamath Falls, Olean. Sorry, yeah, of course, we're not in Olathe, Kansas. Olean 9, Klamath Falls 19, Beatty 22, Lakeview 77. There's Lakeview. Where is Beatty? I'd feel a little bit better. There's Beatty. Okay. So 9 to Olean. We saw a sign for Bonanza, so that would make sense. Bonanza Lions Club, I think, adopted that highway. Thanks, Bonanza Lions Club, for giving us a clue. Klamath Falls, it's got to be on this road 140. Olean, that would make sense. So if it's 10 from Klamath Falls to Olean, and then it's 9 to Olean, we are probably around here? Beatty 22, Lakeview 77. Beatty 22, does that make sense? Yeah, so we are around, it looks like, Hildebrand, Oregon, or possibly in Derry, Oregon. Should I go in Derry just because the name's cooler? Yeah, I should. The name's cooler, so I feel like we might have been like coming into Derry. Let's see where we were at the jump. Oh, we really didn't move very far at all. So where's O'Connor's Irish Pub? Where would be big enough to have O'Connor's here? Klamath Fire Department, Bly Mountain. This looks a little mountainous, and we'd be still 22 to Beatty. So I could be convinced that we're in Derry. Derry Diner, Rice Feed and Supply Store. Yeah. So it looks like Derry Diner might have turned into O'Connor's Irish Pub. Okay. So it looks like we are on, yeah, there's 70. Yeah, gotta be. Come on, gotta be. Dairy Diner, Feed Supply. Just make sure I'm lined up right. Okay, so we're just lined up on the other side of the road from the bottom part of that diner. Not called Dairy Diner anymore. You fooled me. Turned it into an Irish pub. So, yeah, a very authentic Irish pub in Derry, Oregon. Beautiful. 5K Derry, Oregon had that high desert feel. I mean, I was a little bit west of where I might have expected to be, but lots of pine trees. Good feel. I'm feeling like on this last round, I got just like a gift here. We're in front of a building, and I swear this building looks pretty familiar. I have a strong guess as to where we are. A very strong guess indeed. This looks all the world to me like the Nebraska State Capitol building. Is that possible? It almost looked at first, I panned, but we haven't moved yet. Yeah, it looked to me at first like that might have been a cross at the top, but it's not. So then I was like, Could this just be a really impressive cathedral or something? Nah, this is gotta be Nebraska state capital. Would other things support us being in Nebraska? All front plates would definitely support that. Would this be Lincoln? Would this feel like Lincoln? Lots of these mature trees, generally plainy, flat feeling. Certainly looks like we're on like a governmental mall in front of that Capitol building. It's looking more and more like all the world that this is a state capital. I'm pretty sure it's the Nebraska state capital. Does Nebraska have a generic blue flag like that? They probably do. So many states have blue flags, but I feel like that could be Nebraska for sure. Not going to move South something Street. Is that a number? Because I know that Lincoln is on a numbered grid system. Lincoln. Where is the Nebraska state capital? There it is. 14th Lincoln Mall, K Street. Does that say K Street? I don't think so. That says South something Street. South 13th, that would make sense. Okay. East. No. Well, would we be on the other side? South 17th Street? J? Could we be here? 16th in that Lincoln Mall? I don't think so, no. We haven't moved at all. North. Uh-oh. Capitol Fountain. Is that the Capitol Fountain? Capitol Park? Could this still be good? It's just weird. It doesn't look like... It looks like we might be on K. Is there a fountain? I'm not looking towards a fountain, am I? Is the fountain off? Is the fountain in front of me? South towards the Capitol. Am I looking due south towards the Capitol? I am. Nebraska State Capitol. Capitol building with a 400-foot tower. I mean, it's gotta be it, right? I was studying state capitol buildings, I remember, like a few weeks ago, and I feel like I was dropped somewhere in Lincoln on a round, and I saw this tall Capitol building, and I was like, bam, Bismarck. But then, once I obviously realized it wasn't Bismarck and it was Lincoln, I looked up the North Dakota, and it's more square. They have like a tall skyscraper kind of state capitol too, but it's square. It's more like boxier than this. From what I remember, the Nebraska one's pretty ornate like this. We would be looking east towards South 16th. Is that what that says? Oh, why am I like getting such anxiety? I mean, maybe it's just because there could be a lot of buildings that look like this, maybe, but nah, I'm gonna trust my first instinct. I think we just were dropped and we're just looking right at the Nebraska state capitol. Yeah, nice, okay. Cool, so that was a pretty easy fifth round indeed. How did I do? 24,997, great. Was the Alaska round the one that got me? Yeah, 574 yards away. Ugh, little shaky on that one. I'm usually like so solid with Alaska, but that snowless mountain like just confused the crap out of me. Almost always in Alaska, I want to see snowy mountains, but I'm finding that in Geoguessr on Google Street View, there's a lot of fall Alaska coverage, maybe like September. So the snow has melted in a lot of those locations, especially around Anchorage. I got two locations the other day where Anchorage even had snowless mountains. So that confused me. I think I need to think a little bit more towards like Alaska being in like permanent fall coverage in Geoguessr. I skipped one though. Where was one? Oh yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Trash bin helped. We were able to pinpoint our location in Tulsa. Look at how spread out across the country we were. Nice variety. Then Brookline, Massachusetts. That's right. We're 3 yards away in Brookline. For Derry, Oregon. Derry, Oregon. A new location for me. Never in my life heard of Derry, Oregon. I feel like you might consider that still the high desert near the California-Oregon border, going over there towards the Great Basin. And then finally, just right in front of the Nebraska State Capitol in Lincoln, Nebraska. Very cool. So thank you for playing along with me. I hope you learned something through this 5 rounds in America.